As you may or may not know, my wife and I just got back from Vegas. It was a great trip. We ate, we drank, we had a blast. But then we got home and looked at the credit card, and I gotta say, it doesn't matter how much fun you're having, $25 for a drink is a ripoff. Frickin' Vegas. I hate getting ripped off, and so do the lads over at Harry's. They spent years watching the razor blade companies rip people off and said, no more. Not all heroes wear capes, my friends, and they want to prove that they're legit by offering you hot dogs a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. I've been telling you about them for months, and I'm genuinely proud to have Harry's as a sponsor of this show. I wasn't kidding. The plastic, futuristic-looking crap razors you get at the store are overpriced and they're poor quality. Harry's blades are crisp, clean, and classy. They're the kind of razor you'd expect your grandpa to have on his bathroom counter. And most importantly, they work. Shave after shave, they're so smooth, they're precise. I used to go through the crappy store blades all the time, but Harry's are built to last. And they're not just better quality than the other names, they're more affordable. And they deliver. Just set your schedule, and for as little as $2, new blades, shaving creams, lotions, everything you need, right to your door when you need it. I genuinely cannot think of a reason not to try Harry's. And I'm not just saying this because they're sponsors. They're the best shaving supplies I've ever used. Try them out, and if you're not happy, your shave's on them. And unlike the other subscriptions, they're really easy to cancel if you want to too, which is a nice bonus, but believe me, you're not going to want to cancel. Getting ripped off isn't funny. Switch to Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. That's harrys.com/RTG for a $3 trial set. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 128, and we are talking a PlayStation 2 classic, the winner of last month's Patreon poll, the iconic, entertaining, somewhat controversial Bully by Rockstar Games. And Rockstar, in case you didn't know, is also responsible for a couple little-known cult classic series, including Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption. And Bully gets overlooked sometimes because obviously the franchises I just mentioned are kind of a big deal. Those are Rockstar's bread and butter. But Bully is a great game. I just played it for the first time after it won our Patreon poll. I fucking loved it. So did my guest this week. Remember the game staple Bradley McHugh? He's back in the house. Well, via the phone, social distancing. And we had a nice long chat about it the other day that I'm going to play for you in its entirety on this week's episode of the show. But first, speaking of nice and long, it's time for the Remember the Game infamous intro. And never forget, as always, there are timestamps in the description box of this very podcast telling you when to skip to. If you're only here for the Bully talk, or just play one, remake one, erase one, or fucking whatever, don't fucking bully me. See what I did there? Don't bully me. Just, anyway. So the timestamps are there. You can skip past the intro if you would like to, or just listen to the whole thing and fucking listen to it the way it was. Be like skipping the opening scene of the movie. You got to watch the whole fucking movie, right? Well, I guess maybe the intro is like the trailers before the movie, because you don't really need this to watch the whole anyway, it doesn't matter. Just listen, fuck whatever. Just listen to however you want to listen. If you're listening to this far, you've probably given me a download, and that's thank you. Now you can listen to it however you want. And as far as thank yous go, huge shout out to everyone that has been sending stuff to our P.O. box recently. I usually only plug it at the end of the show, but like this was a great week. I received an awesome set of Conker's Bad Fur Day drinking glasses from longtime friend of the show, Chris. Tim, my boy Tim, sent me a copy of Nier Automata. I hope I said that right. Nier Automata for the PlayStation 4, which I'm really excited to jump into. I got a postcard from Tapio in fucking Finland. I sure hope I said your name right. I'm 100% sure that I didn't, but thank you so much for the card. Dude, I'm a huge Saku Koivu fan. I'm a huge Teemu Selanne fan. I love the way that Finnish hockey players play the game, so I want to go to Finland so bad someday. So thank you all so much for your generosity. And if you didn't know, we do have a P.O. box. You can see the full address on our website. But it's Remember the Game, P.O. Box 69181, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, T6 Victor, 1 Gary 7. And just all I'm really asking for is postcards. Just a postcard, something small. Tell me where you're listening, particularly if you live outside of Canada or Alberta, whatever, but I'll take them from anywhere. I have Remember the Game postcards here. I'd be happy to send you one back. And it's really cool and frankly very special to me that we have listeners around the world. And I just want to know where you're listening from. So if you're inclined, shoot me one. I'll shoot you one back. We'll be pen pals. I'm not asking for giant gifts or anything, although those are certainly appreciated as well. I'm certainly not just a postcard. Don't feel the obligation to send anything else. Just a nice postcard. I'll send you one back. But thank you so much to all of you guys that have been sending stuff to the P.O. box lately. That's really, really, really cool. Now, normally, this is where I plug everything that I have going on, and I'm going to do that in just a second. But first, I got a couple programming notes here that I need to get out of the way because we're going to be switching things up for Christmas. So next week is Christmas, and I'm going to take the week off and just hang out with my girlfriend while she has the week off, and I'm going to play video games and eat and drink and embrace my role as the drunk uncle of the family that I have so gracefully slid into in my late 30s. So there will not be an episode of Game Patch or Expansion Pass next Friday and Sunday, which is December 25th and December 27th, respectively. And I know there's a lot of Patreons, and I sure hope everybody understands. It's just 1 week. I just really want to take a break for Christmas. And then next Wednesday, December 23rd, I'm not going to be publishing a standard episode of Remember the Game as well. But what I am going to be doing is publishing one of the early episodes of our Patreon exclusive podcast Expansion Pass. I think I'm going to go with episode 20, which went live way back on August 9th of this year. And it was my ranking of my top 20 NES games of all time. It was a pretty well-received episode. It was a lot of fun. So I think I'm going to drop that on the free feed next week and just take the week off. It's kind of like a Christmas present to you, if you will. And I know it's like getting socks for Christmas, and my podcast is kind of the socks of podcasts, but it's better than coal, which is what some other podcasts are. At least we're fucking socks. So yeah, consider like a free sample, a Christmas gift. And if you like it, maybe consider supporting us on Patreon in the new year. It's only $2 a month. You get a new episode of Expansion Pass every Sunday, except for next Sunday. This weekend, it's going to be our Festivus Airing of Gaming Grievances podcast, where we can get all the stuff off our chest that bugs us about gaming. I've already got a ton of grievances from our Patreons. That's going to be a really fun episode. In addition to the extra podcasts, you get early access to my gaming news podcast, Game Patch. It usually goes live every Monday. You'll get it every Friday morning if you support us over on Patreon. And then you also get you get to help pick the games we cover on the show. You can submit comments and questions for the show. You get access to our new Discord service, which is like a giant chat room with the community, and it's really growing and becoming fun. And most importantly, goddammit, you can support Remember the Game Industries and support me as well. And over 150 of you are doing that now, including our newest Patreons, MPG in Buffalo, Amy Gillen, Dana Wutcherl. I'm so hope I said your name right, Dana, and you as well, Gamey. Fuck, Amy. God damn it. Let me just start that over again. And over 150 of you are doing that right now, including our newest Patreons, MPG in Buffalo, Amy Gillen, Dana W, and James Anderson. I'm just going to say that so I don't fucking name up again, Dana. Thank you all so much for supporting me. Welcome to Remember the Game Industries, and I hope my fucking up of some of your names didn't chase you away right there. So sign up, $2, get a ton of extra podcasts. You can vote, you can send in comments, and you can help keep Remember the Game Industries on the air. It may not seem like much, but holy fuck, it helps me, okay? And I just want to quickly clarify something. There was a little confusion on Patreon this week. We do offer a $5 tier tier as well. Now, the $2 tier gets you to the vote in our Patreon poll, which is one game on Remember the Game every month. You get access to our Discord, extra podcast, all that other stuff. But we do have a $5 tier as well, which includes a once-a-month rambling podcast where I talk about stuff that isn't video games. It's my life, the news, whatever. And then you can also vote in polls to decide a game for my Let's Play series, Adam Sucks at Video Games. And you can vote for one of the topics we cover each month on Expansion Pass. Those two polls aren't included in the $2 tier, and it breaks them all down on Patreon when you see the tiers, but I don't want anyone to ever feel like they've been ripped off or cheated or anything like that. You guys know I take that very, very seriously. So that's all that. It's all there, okay? And then finally, as I always plug, I stream on Twitch. Normally on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sunday nights from 8 to 11 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Look for Member the Game on Twitch, not Remember. Member the Game over on Twitch. It's a lot of fun. Now this week, the week of December, this will go live on the 16th. There will not be a Thursday the 17th or Sunday the 20th stream. And that's because this weekend, Friday, December 18th to Saturday, December 19th, I'll be streaming for 24 straight hours to help raise money for the Stollery Children's Hospital here in Edmonton via the Extra Life program. They're a real accredited charity. It's a lot of fun. You can help a good cause. I think you get a tax receipt. Don't yell at me for those. That kind of depends on where you live, but all the information is there on the website. I will be streaming from 9 a.m. Friday morning to 9 a.m. Saturday morning. That's Mountain Standard Time. So that's 8 a.m. Pacific. It's 11 a.m. Eastern. I have no idea what time that is in the city of Great Britain or Australia, but I'm sure you guys can figure it out. I know that there's a lot of people that don't traditionally come by my Twitch streams because 8 to 11 p.m. Mountain Time, might be fucking 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. wherever you live. But I'm going to be on there for 24 straight hours this weekend. So no matter where you live in the world, at some point I will be online while hopefully you're sitting on the toilet on your phone or something like that. So if you want to come by, obviously, if you want to donate to the cause, that's rad. But if you just want to come by and say hello, that's absolutely fantastic too. It's completely free. Look for Member the Game on Twitch. And I'll be giving away prizes. I'll be giving, for everyone that donates at least $20, you'll be entered into a draw. Someone's going to win a copy of whatever video game they want, like current games. I'm not buying like a $400 copy of fucking Earthbound or something. And I'll send that to you. And someone is going to win a chance to come on the show. You can pick the game. You'll be my guest. I'll give you a call or we'll talk over Zoom or whatever. And, yeah, so those are the two prizes I'm giving away. My goal is $1,000. We're already at like $300 and the stream hasn't even started yet. So that's really exciting. I'm just going to be playing a bunch of retro games, some of my favorites. I'm also probably going to squeeze in some Echo the Dolphin just for laughs. And it should be a lot of fun. So I really hope you can come by and say hi. And what are we at? Yeah, 10 minutes. That's enough. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow in some cartridges. Let's get the show going. You guys know it is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, not always. We call it blowing in the cartridge. Let's blow. And the first one, we didn't get very many this week, which is, I'm not going to BS you guys. We didn't get, that's fine. It's all right. It's Christmas. Everyone's busy. But Kevin wrote into us on Patreon and said, "Hey, Adam, congrats on managing to snag an Xbox Series X. I'm looking for one myself, but I haven't had a lot of luck so far. I know you said you like it, but you also said there isn't really anything about it that makes it a must-own right now. Do you really feel that way, or are you just trying to make those of us that can't find one feel better? Thanks for all you do, and Merry Christmas." Kevin, Merry Christmas to you and to yours as well, my man. Look out for Uncle Frank. That guy is a piece of shit. And don't give up on the Xbox, okay? I've seen more and more people posting pictures of Xbox Series X's and Xbox Series S's out there. They're in the wild. If you're looking for a PlayStation 5, they don't seem to be as readily available in the wild right now, but you will find one, okay? Do not cave to scalpers, okay? Do not cave. It really isn't worth it. I have absolutely been telling the truth about that, okay? Like, listen, I love this thing. I love my Xbox Series X. The quicker load times are awesome. Multiple quick resume is a fucking game changer. The UI is faster. It looks nice. I love the controller. It's a great console, but there literally is not one game on it that you can't play on an Xbox One. I guess maybe Cyberpunk, but that's a whole different discussion, debate, argument, duel to the death, whatever the internet is doing about that game these days. We're not getting into that. It's rad. I do not regret buying it at all, but other than some quality of life improvements, you're really not missing out right now. It's like upgrading to an iPhone 12 when you had an iPhone 11 or whatever iPhones are at these days. It's just better quality of life. I would even argue if you're new to the Xbox ecosystem, maybe consider picking up an Xbox One right now. Like, you can get them dirt cheap on Craigslist and stuff. People are selling theirs, and you can just play that. You can play every game on that I'm playing. Game Pass is still there. You can experiment with it, see if you like the ecosystem. I think you even get 3 months for $1 if you're new to Game Pass. And then if you like what Xbox offers, you can snag an Xbox Series X or S whenever they're readily available at retail, and then maybe they'll have more games available that are exclusive to them, and it's absolutely not worth paying a reseller for. And I don't have a PlayStation 5. I know, pardon me. I know you didn't ask about that, but I don't have a PS5, but I do want one. But same thing. I don't think they're worth paying a reseller for either. There are games on the PS5 you can't play on the PS4 already, like Demon's Souls, and more coming soon with Returnal and Ratchet and Clank and stuff like that. PS5s are also harder to find in the wild right now than Xbox Series X's and S's are. But unless you have money to burn, and you want to blow your kid or your spouse or someone else's mind away with a rad Christmas present, just be patient. Just wait. Don't pay a scalper. You're not getting that much better of an experience. It's not like when the Nintendo 64 came out and it had Mario 64 and you couldn't play it on the Super Nintendo, or a PlayStation 1 and had Metal Gear Solid that you couldn't experience anywhere else. Like, there's just not enough new, unique experiences locked on these things to justify paying markup reseller prices for them. So thank you for writing, Kevin. I know tons of you are waiting. Now that I've spent a few weeks with my Xbox Series X, it's fucking awesome. It's not worth paying a reseller for. Just fucking wait, be patient, save your money. You will get one, I promise, okay? Thank you for writing in, Kevin. And then I have one more letter I wanted to read here, and it has been distinguished as the letter time letter. So it's letter time. It's letter time. And this one comes in from Amy Gillen. And God, I hope I'm saying your name right, Amy, one of our newest Patreons. And Amy wrote to me and said, "Hey, Adam, I don't normally do this, but considering you're my favorite podcast, I wanted to send you a shout out and say hi. I work for Australia Post here in Oz. I listen to you while I work, so I've listened to every episode and game patch." Thank you, Amy. That's awesome. I have a question for letter time. What's your thoughts on the Perfect Dark remake coming out? I got so excited when I saw the trailer. Anyway, thought it was about time I showed you some love. Keep the shows coming. They are great. Amy, first of all, thank you so much for reaching out. Thank you for signing up for our Patreon. Welcome to Remember the Game Industries. I really appreciate it. And hello to you and all the people down in the land of Oz. God, I want to go. I want to visit Australia so bad, but I'm never going to be able to because I can't convince my girlfriend that there aren't spiders there the size of her head. And I know there are some, but they're not everywhere, I don't think. And if they are, let's just not tell her. I want to go. As far as Perfect Dark goes, yeah, I'm fucking really excited about getting my hands on Perfect Dark. I never played the Perfect Dark Zero, the Xbox 360 one, but the original on the Nintendo 64 was fucking rad. Now you can play it on Xbox and stuff with Rare Replay. And it just seems like such a killer, like a potential murderous franchise that they've just let die on the vine for like 15 years. And you can obviously argue that Xbox already has too many shooters. It's the shooter system and blah, 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 blah. Perfect Dark can and should be an entirely different game than something like Halo. Halo is a lot of just run and gun, right? And that's great. I love Halo. Perfect Dark should be more stealth and strategy and the story and everything like that. The sci-fi atmosphere and everything. There's a great world there. Bring back Elvis the alien because he's fucking awesome. And Joanna Dark is a really cool character. Like, Xbox needs some characters. That's a big problem for them. PlayStation has got Kratos and Ellie and Aloy and Ratchet and Clank and all these characters, right? And obviously Nintendo's got their long list. What do you think of Xbox when you think of characters and mascots, if you will? They've got Master Chief. They've got the Gears of War squad. That's it. Like, they need some more franchises, and I don't see why Joanna Dark can't get on the same level as them with a couple of good games, which should be very makeable. So, yes, I'm incredibly excited they're bringing back Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark and Back 4 Blood were my standouts from the Game Awards, 100% for sure, and I'm sure that game's still a couple years away, but holy fuck, I can't wait to play it. So, yes, thank you, Amy. Thank you for writing in. Thanks for supporting us, and that is all the blowing that we are going to do on the show this week. Let's change things up and let's get into our smash hit segment, Play One, Remake One, Erase One. And a huge thank you, as always, to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple, you guys. Each week, I give our listeners 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, they can remake one as a modern AAA game, and the third game is Erased from Time forever. And this week, I figured since we're talking about a Rockstar game, we're going to do the Rockstar edition of the show. And the tricky thing about coming up with 3 games to play with was not including GTA or Red Dead, because obviously those are going to dominate the discussion. So it is the Rockstar edition, and our contenders are the subject of this week's show, which is Bully, along with Max Payne and the often forgotten State of Emergency. And as always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a correct one, and I'm going to tell you what that is in just a minute. And thanks to everyone, as always, that played. We'll start with Martin Greenwood this week, who wrote it this week. Martin Greenwood this week. Greenwood this week. That's hard. Plus, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't know if you can tell or not. I'm a little off. I hurt my back this morning, so I took a Robaxacet, and I'm just feeling I feel good. I feel good right now. So if I sound a little off, there you go. But anyway, Martin Greenwood, you don't care about that. You care about Play 1, Remake 1, Erase 1. Wrote in and said, this is easy, as 2 of these games are 2 of my favorite games. Remake Bully, it's a stunning game that I love, but with the current gen tidy up and online support, it would be incredible. Play State of Emergency, as it's a blast to play. I remember playing this game for entire weekends and just fucking shit up. And then Erase Max Payne, as that bullet time thing really pissed me off. Now, it's funny that you say that, Martin, because State of Emergency is one of those games, like I say, that just seems to be forgotten. But I remember playing it for entire weekends as well, and doing exactly what you said, just running around, fucking shit up. And I thought everyone would just write it off this week. Like, I thought State of Emergency was going to be the obvious erase one this week. But quite a few people have fond memories of it and have stood up for it. So that surprised me. And I absolutely agree with you, my friend. Bully is fucking awesome. Josh Morgan wrote into us and said, remake Bully. It's probably Rockstar's most underrated game of all time, and it deserves a modern remake, re-release, and another crack at the big time. Erase Max Payne and State of Emergency because they both suck, and play The Warriors because it's way better than both of those games and should have been on this list instead. Listen, Josh, that's cheating, okay? You cheating bastards. You guys cheat every week. And I'm not going to let I'll let it stand because I'll read it on the show. But you're all cheaters. For the record, I never played The Warriors, but I've also never seen The Warriors movie, so I don't know if the game would even make sense to me. I agree that Bully is horribly underrated, but you're still cheating, so you are fucking disqualified, sir. Disqualified. James Anderson wrote in and said, I'll remake Bully. Never played it, but on Steam it's got great reviews and people have said they want a remake. I'll keep State of Emergency. It was an okay game. And then I'll erase Max Payne. There are many other games that do what that game does better. You know what? I gotta say too, James, like, not only is State of Emergency getting better reviews than I thought, but I really thought more people liked Max Payne. I had no idea as many people hated that game as do. I remember really liking Max Payne, but apparently a lot of people fucking hate it. And James, you should absolutely play Bully. I absolutely fucking play Bully. It's got good reviews for a reason. What do we got here? Makeshift Money wrote in and said, play Bully. There's no way there's going to be a sequel in this toxic world, so enjoy what we have. It still plays well today. Remake State of Emergency. This concept was way ahead of its time, and it'd be a great sandbox game along the lines of Dead Rising. And then Erase Max Payne. Its hook of slow-mo shooting has been done a million other places, and its story never really drew me in. Solid lineup, Makeshift. Incredibly bang on point regarding a Bully sequel. Like, we talk about that when we get into the game in a few minutes, but as much as I would love to see a sequel to that game, I don't think it's ever going to happen. This game just wouldn't work today, at least not in the way they made the original. And then, you know what? Comparing the idea of State of Emergency to Dead Rising is a really interesting concept. I never thought of that, but I think you're right. Like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, that raised my eyebrow a little bit. That's a great idea. Slick Rick wrote in and said, I'm not sure if I'm on band yet, unfairly accused of not following the rules, but I would play Bully and then erase the other 2. I liked Max Payne for a hot minute for the bullet time, but looking back, both these games are dog turds that have been sitting so long they've turned white, and the Max Payne movie is included in this pile. Let them rot into the ground and be forgotten forever. You know what, Slick Rick? I'm pretty goddamn sick of you making a mockery of our rules here on the show, okay? You started out fine when you said play Bully. I was like, all right, that's 1. But then you go back to your crumb bum ways, you erase everything else, and when/if Remember the Game can afford security, you are going to be escorted off of the show's premises, sir. Until then, you're just fucking rebanned. Rebanned. You cheating. You and Josh Anderson this week. You cheating bullies. Or no, Josh Morgan. It was Josh Morgan. Yeah, James Anderson, Josh Morgan. You guys are cheating bullies. Fucking goddamn it. Play by. Yeah, anyway. Thank you for playing, kind of. Raging Demon wrote in and said I wasn't going to play this week because I thought I didn't know these games well enough. I've only ever played Max Payne, but you know what? I play heaps of games and do heaps of shit without knowing material, so I'm going to play anyway. Play Bully. This sounds like a cool game, and people of the Remember the Game community say it's fun. Remake Max Payne. As much as there wouldn't need to be another shooter, this can be done way better now. The neo-noir detective revenge story could be interesting. And then Erase State of Emergency. People are not making me want to play this with their comments, and when I watched some footage of the game, it basically looked like real life in the USA right now, so people in that market could just go outside if they're into that kind of thing. P.S. The last one is a joke. Only if it didn't make you laugh is classified as a bad joke. That made me chuckle, so I'm okay with that, Demon. You're not wrong. Unfortunately, State of Emergency does look like a fucking Black Friday sale these days, unfortunately. Well done, Demon. Well done. And literally, don't ever hesitate to play this game just because you haven't played all the games. Because like 90% of the stuff I tackle in life involves things and situations that I don't know anything about, and I make it work just fine. So you're good, sir. Feel free. And Tom, I don't know how to say your last name, Tom. Kite? I'm going to go Tom Kite. I always just say Tom. But Tom agrees. He says, I would say play Bully. It's just as playable today as it was 15 odd years ago. I still think it's Rockstar's best game, in my humble opinion. Remake Max Payne. I think this game suffered from being released around the same time as GTA 3, and as a result, it was relegated to being just another third-party shooter, but I think a current-gen remake would benefit it immensely. And then Erase State of Emergency. Luckily, I bought this game as part of a 3-for-2 deal, and I would have been pissed if I'd paid full price. It isn't fit to suck Bully or Max Payne's dick. Oh! That's the Sopranos. Oh, I like that. See, I gotta agree with what you're saying about Max Payne, Tom. Like, I really feel like that game got lost in the shuffle. I have so many memories of playing that game back in the day and loving it. Like, I always thought that was a sleeper hit game from back in the day. I can't believe no one likes Max Payne. And I actually might agree about Bully being Rockstar's best game too. That's a hot take, but I might be on the same page as you. I fucking love that game. And then finally, Gary C. wrote in, agreed with both of them and said, I'd say play Bully. It totally holds up. It's an awesome game. Go for the 360 version so it's in HD. Remake Max Payne. That game was awesome but kind of limited by technology at the time. Would love a faithful remakes with all the bells and whistles that current gen can offer. And Erase State of Emergency. Fuck that game. I remember buying it on the strength of the Rockstar brand and being totally disappointed by how shallow it was. Good concept, but totally missed the mark for me. It doesn't deserve to sit alongside the other two. It can fuck right off. So Gary agrees with Tom and Raging Demon in their order, and I actually do as well. I would also erase State of Emergency because I feel the exact same way Gary does. I bought it after seeing all the ads in magazines and stuff like that. I thought the concept was so cool. It was just boring. It was just one of the first games I ever bought with my own money and really regretted buying it. You know, I still really love the idea Makeshift had of making it like Dead Rising, but in its current form, I can't fucking stand State of Emergency. I'd remake Max Payne because I really do seriously like that game. When I made this list, I was worried too many people would do the same thing and they would play Bully, erase State of Emergency, and remake Max Payne because I really thought everybody liked this game. And now I'm worrying Max Payne sucks and I'm just remembering it wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, I haven't played it in fucking 15 years or whatever, but I really liked it. I want more. So yeah, I'm going to remake me some Max Payne. We're going to call it Max Payne Remastered. You see? Remastered. Yeah. Oh, that's fuck. I should sell that to Rockstar. That's genius. And then I'd play Bully because it's awesome. Just like everyone else here has said. I don't know what else. I'm going to get into that in a few minutes. Anything I say now, I'm just going to be repeating what I'm about to say in the bulk of the podcast. So that's my answer. I play Bully, remake Max Payne, and get rid of fucking State of Emergency. Thanks to all of you that played. Apparently, most of you don't feel the same way as I do, but that's fine. There are no winners in this show. There are no... Okay, well, I meant to say there are no losers on this show, only winners, but I actually like the other one better. That's going to be the new catchphrase. There are no winners at Remember the Game, only losers. I like that way better. Fuck yeah. That's sick. All right. What have I been playing over the last 7 days? And then we're going to get into some bully talk. I've been playing River City Ransom. I played it on my Twitch stream last week as it won this month's Patreon poll. I'd never really played it. I've got some mixed opinions on it. I get why people love it. I'm not sure that I do. But I got to the final boss just on my Twitch stream. I'm going to finish that up this week. And then you'll get an episode on River City Ransom in early January. I also finished Doom Eternal on my Xbox, and I fucking loved it. I completely 180'd from how I felt about it when I started to how I felt about it when it was over. The first couple of hours of Doom Eternal is pretty rough. There's a lot of new mechanics for you to learn, and you're dying a ton, and it's a little frustrating. But I would suggest to anyone that's trying to play it, just power through, because it's not like the power through. I got the squeaky voice teenager thing going on again, because it's not a bad game. It's just a lot to take in. But once you get a grip on the controls and the mechanics, Doom Eternal is fucking rad. It's got a place on my Game of the Year podcast in January for sure. I don't know if it's going to be my Game of the Year, but it's going to be on the list. No doubt in my mind. I've been playing Blaster Master on my Switch from the NES Online for my Let's Play series. I love the concept, but it is one of the most soul-crushingly difficult games that I've ever played. But we're going to fucking finish it, so you can find that at youtube.com/rememberthegame. And now I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima on my PS4, and I'm falling in love with it. I'm falling in love with it. Another contender for my Game of the Year, without a doubt. We'll see how it ends, but based on the first, 6 or 7 hours that I put into it, I fucking adore what they're doing with that game. Ghost of Tsushima is awesome. And that's it. That's what I've been playing. We've talked about everything. That's a long enough intro. Let's get into the bully talk. I like to give you nerds a chance to share your thoughts on games before I indulge myself, as you guys know. And Gary C. wrote into us on Patreon and said, "This was an awesome game, which I have fond memories of playing right through to the end. And when it came out, I can remember the media having a field day about it, accusing of it encouraging bullying in schools. This was, of course, a complete load of bullocks." I love that. As anyone who actually played through the game would know. However, it didn't stop Rockstar from having to change the name over here in the city of Great Britain, where it was instead called Canis Canem Edit. Instead, really? I didn't know that. Canis Canem Edit. Actually, I think Bradley brings it up on our podcast this week. Canis Canem Edit. I found it to be more like an easygoing version of GTA with some typically great characters, a la Rockstar. Your actions still had consequences, but most of the missions were more fun, and many more were genuinely funny. Scores a solid A- for me. I see what you did there, because he's in school. That's good stuff, Gary. I did not know. Yeah, Canis Canem Edit. And then They Call Me Badger wrote in and said, "I will say it right now, Bully is better than any GTA game. I remember when this game came out and they didn't sell it as GTA, but they didn't sell it as GTA, but in high school, and that's exactly what it is, but it does it better. The story makes more sense than anything GTA has put together, and it still has solid gameplay all these years later. Cannot wait for the sequel." You know what? I agree with you, Badger, but unfortunately, I think you're going to be waiting for quite a while, my friend. I want a fucking sequel too, but I don't think there's one coming anytime soon. And we're going to talk about that on the podcast in just a minute. I'm going to cue up some music. And my pal Bradley McHugh and I talked all about the highs and lows of Bully last week and why we may not get a sequel. And you can listen to that right now as we talk about Bully, which originally released in North America on the PlayStation 2 on October 17th, 2006. Kick back and relax. Let's talk Bully. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Everyone that listens to this podcast knows about our illustrious CEO, my dog Molly. But the other silent partner behind the scenes is my wife. And let me tell you, my friends, a 17-year relationship with another person that has to talk to and live with you is a lot harder to maintain than one with a dog. We've had our ups and downs, and as you all know, a relationship isn't all sunshine and rainbows. They can be a lot of work. You get out what you put in when it comes to relationships, and talking to a therapist can be a fantastic way to put in some work. They can help you work through your issues, learn to communicate better, and even just provide you with an ear to bend when you need it. I've talked to my therapist about my relationships, especially when it came to my stand-up comedy career and how much I was away from home, and they helped me work on ways to keep my relationship strong even when I was out on the road. It turned out our relationship was actually better when I was out on the road, but that's a story for another day. And I know, right? Therapy. Who has the time these days? BetterHelp hears you, and they're making it easy. Fill out a quick form online, and they'll match you up with a therapist that suits your needs and that'll work around your schedule. You pick the meet times, and you can get your therapy fix from anywhere, over video, phone, or just chat. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/RememberTheGame today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/RememberTheGame. Okay, so this is these are the special episodes. These are the Patreon poll winning episodes, which I always feel a little bit more of an obligation to try harder on because you guys picked this game. And joining me this week is someone that tried very, very hard, because when I had reached out to him and said, hey, did you ever play Bully? He said, yeah, that game is awesome. And then I said, would you like to come on the show and talk about it? And he said, yes. And then he went out, bought Bully on his PS4 and marathoned it just to prepare. That's dedication. That's why you're getting into the Hall of Fame ahead of that fucking lackluster brother of yours. Because joining me on...
Fuck him.
Fuck him. Joining me on the show this week, once again, is my good pal, Mr. Bradley McHugh. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I actually, I had a bit of a weird week. I got put into, because when you had reached out to me, because you only reached out to me, on Friday, like just a few days ago.
Yeah, it was
before we're recording.
You turned this around fast, my friend.
Yeah, you were like, hey man, I'm looking to do this, and I was like, oh, I'm in quarantine, so even though I haven't played that game since I was 13. Yeah, let's do it. So I just marathon this game like crazy over the last few days. I didn't quite beat it. I think the internet told me I'm in the final chapter of the game, which is cool. It means I'm almost at the end. But I pretty much played the whole thing. It's just jammed it right in.
So now, just quickly before we get into the Bully talk, I feel like the listeners would be horrified if I didn't ask. Like, you're okay, right? You're not like sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
not to
totally
pry into your personal life, but everyone would just be like, the dude just basically said he's dying, and you're like, okay, so Bully, like, and I just fucking ignore your. Okay,
like it's cool that in your dying days you just played this Rockstar game.
Yeah, this old
you played
video
once
game
when you were 15.
But
in honesty, like I hadn't played it in just so very, very long.
Yeah.
And so when you reached out to me, I was like, I do want to talk about Bully on the podcast, but holy shit, do I ever not remember anything about it. So buying it and replaying it was really, really my only option there.
Well, I appreciate your dedication to the show, my friend. Very, very much.
Of course. And you know what? Any job that brings me to playing video games for 5 days in a row, I'm good with it.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? And dude, this game, because I never played this back in the day, and the big reason I never played this back in the day is because I knew it was made by Rockstar. And when I see that a game is made by Rockstar, my first inkling is that it's probably a pretty good video game, because they have a pretty above average track record.
Yeah, I would say more often than not, Rockstar's putting out like pretty good games. Yeah.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like when I see that name, it's not like when you see fucking what's a bad
EA,
company?
And you're like, maybe.
Yeah, EA is a great example. Yeah, when I see EA's name on a game, I'm like, I'll wait. But when you see Rockstar, you're like, it's probably good. The reason I stayed away from this game was because Rockstar makes the GTA games, and I just don't. I mean, I've somewhat turned around after playing through San Andreas, but the GTA games have never been my jam. Not because they're bad, but they're just too big, and I fucking hate how much time that I have to spend just driving from place to place in a Grand Theft Auto game.
I think we've talked about this before, but I think you and I have like a very, very similar take on Grand Theft Auto, where it's like, I like them perfectly fine, but they're not those games. They're not as good as people tote them to be ever.
Right. They're just, yeah.
And I even feel that way about like some of the Rockstar spin-off stuff, except for LA Noire, because why did nobody like it? It's good. But anyway, or even Red Dead Redemption 1, I think is very good. But most of Rockstar's stuff is like, it's okay.
Yeah, so this, so like they're so fucking big, and so when everyone picked Bully on the Patreon poll, I was like, fuck me, like I do not have 50 hours to put into this game. And then I looked it up and they were like, well, the campaign's only about 20 hours, which to me, that is the sweet spot for a good video game campaign. It's right around that
agree.
20,
Yeah.
right? 20 hours. That's fucking, you can beat it in a week or two without having to marathon it, but it doesn't take over your life for 6 months. That's good
I don't
stuff.
want to be playing a game so long that I'm emotionally connected to the side plots.
Right. Yes, exactly.
You've made the game too long if that's what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. And I got to be honest with you, Bradley. Like it's more than like I loved my time with, I was like, why isn't the GTA games like this? Because there is a little bit of transit time in this, but it only takes a minute. You're on your skateboard. It's easy, or a bike or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I really fucking liked this game a lot.
I agree actually completely. And I was actually really surprised because going in, I was like, I remembered the game being stupid. And it is. This game's really stupid. But essentially, I can't help but wonder about this. And even if you look at like Red Dead Redemption, the first game, I can't help but wonder if this was pitched initially as like a canonical Grand Theft Auto spin-off.
Right.
Like that's how they, cause you don't go into like an executive's office and you're like, all right, we got a game. You play as kids, you beat up little kids, you hurt nerds, you play as a bully. And an executive went, wow, print that. No, there has to be a preface to that.
Yeah. And that's, you know what? So that's the first thing I thought about this. Cause like you and I were talking about this just for a second off air before we started, but like, according to its Wikipedia page, this has made lists of like the most controversial games of all time. It's been banned in a couple of places, and we'll get into some of the subject matter that gets it banned and stuff in a minute. Because I may not agree with it, but I do understand with why some people don't want it in their countries or whatever. But I got to be honest, dude. I thought the exact same thing as I was playing. I was like, how the fuck? Like, I get that this is Rockstar, and I get that they've done the Grand Theft Auto games, and I get that like, you know, they don't make Mario. Like they make they make adult video games. I get that. But I was like, who the fuck walked into the boss's office and was like, let's just make a game where we take Bobby Hill, make him like a badass, and he just picks on everybody. And not only did someone pitch it, but someone with some stroke was like, fucking rights. Let's just call it Bully, and let's just make a game about being bullies. But then you sit down to start playing, and the thing, like the first thing that made me, like in the first 20 minutes, made me be like, I think I could get on board with this game, is that, and it does open up a little bit where you go into the town a little more, but like 3/4 of the game takes place on the campus at school. And that's what really got my attention, because I was like, I don't have to waste countless hours driving around a fucking city. It's all on the campus.
Because it doesn't feel like it's a smaller scale game. Like it feels like there's just as many missions and side quests and stuff. It's just because the game itself is smaller. And it really puts into perspective how much fucking time is wasted in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, like and not just not to interrupt you, but not just GTA. Like I love Witcher 3. I've been playing Witcher 3 for 2 years, but like you spend a good portion of Witcher 3 just riding your horse or roach from fucking quest to quest.
Or even Red Dead Redemption 2 is guilty of that.
Right.
And Red Dead Redemption 1 on that matter.
Right. And like you said, in this one, sure, there's some times where you go into the town and stuff. We'll get into that. But like when you're in the school, you have options. You can go and do 2 or 3 various missions at any given time. You can go to class. You can look for collectibles. You can look for places to spray paint. You can collect, and there's tons to do all in that little area.
And then there's also something that I really like about this game is that side missions just appear and you get a chance, like kind of like in the latest Spider-Man games where side missions just appear and you're like, okay, I'll go give that a shot. If I pass it, I pass it. I get a couple of bucks. If I don't, I don't. And then my respect from the nerds doesn't go up 2% or whatever.
Right.
And like those side missions can present themselves at any time with like a little kid running up to you and he's like, Jimmy, I need your help. Those side missions really just can happen anytime, and they are micro. Like the side missions are like you can do them in 2 or 3 minutes. It's just like something that you can do to distract yourself and make some more money. That being said, and I want to gauge your opinion on this. How often did you find yourself grinding for money in this game?
Not
was it
a single time. Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to bring up. I don't even I don't necessarily consider it a fault because it didn't take away from the game for me at all, but I had no idea why money was even a factor. Like
because
you finish the game with
you go
thousands.
to the shops. Yeah. And you go to the shops and you buy you max your entire inventory for like $7, but you have $800 in your wallet.
Yeah. Like to get your health back, you can buy like sodas, like at pop machines, but it's $1. And I was like, this is like the money. It's not so. It's to me, it's practical. There are other things about the game that I also felt didn't serve any real importance that bothered me more. The money I thought was just kind of there, like it didn't matter at all.
Yeah.
Like,
so let's I want to be brief about it, but let's talk about some of the things that maybe we don't love about this game. There are a couple of things about this game that irk me, and do you know what the biggest thing is?
What's that?
The way the fucking missions are set up. And not the actual missions themselves, but the way they're set up. Because what happens is that you have to go to a very specific spot to enter a mission. You then start that mission, and that mission could take you fucking wherever. It could take you all the way across town. But if you fail even for a second, and then you fail, it pulls you out of that mission, but leaves you on the other side of town. So if you want to do that mission, if again you want to try again, you have to go all the way back to the other side of town to go to the mission starting point again.
Yeah, I agree with
Bananas.
that. Yeah,
that's insane.
I was a little disappointed with the. I love the idea that there was once you get off campus and you go into town, like the town isn't overwhelmingly big, but I was disappointed. I liked that they put a fast travel system in with the bus that would take you back to the school campus at any time, but I was a little disappointed that you couldn't just take a city bus and take it like around town.
Because there was lots of different like getting into town is a pain in the ass as much as getting back.
Yeah. Like I really to me, I don't understand like why you couldn't have just put literally even like 3 bus stops. You know what I mean? Like the school and then maybe that industrial area and then 1 or 2 in the town. Even just that to speed things up. Because there are moments. The one problem to me, like, there's not nearly as much downtime of traveling across the map in this as there is in GTA. But the big difference is that in GTA, at least you can listen to the fucking awesome radio. Whereas in this, you don't. You just listen to that stupid song over and over and over again.
Yeah, the xylophone.
Yeah. So I agree with that. Like, yeah, I found that. I got to be honest. Like, I actually found this game very easy. There was only a few times I died. And most of the times when I did die, it was something stupid. Like I accidentally bumped into a cop or something and then couldn't get away. But
well, you know what I actually find kind of bizarre about this game, and stop me if I'm blowing shit here, but this game feels like it has a reverse difficulty curve. The game seems to get easier as you go.
Yeah, it does. It's
like quite a lot.
I was shocked actually at how, like, when I finished the game, even the final boss fight, which I guess spoilers, you guys, it's a fucking 20-year-old game. You know how this show works. Like the final boss is you fight Gary, and
hell yeah.
Like not only did I beat him in the first attempt, but like I think he hit me once. I was like, this is very easy.
You took him to Clown Town, dude.
Yeah, and you're right, dude. I never thought of that, but yeah, like once you start finding the transistors and giving them to that old guy, and that old guy starts teaching you new power punches and stuff like that, the game becomes very easy. And the fact that like basically at any point, if someone's beating you up, like it's very rare you're locked into a fight. You could just run away and then just go buy a couple of sodas and then come back and try it again. Like it was the only mission that killed me multiple times was the fucking stupid mission where you have to break into the Nerds Observatory and use their potato gun.
Oh my God. I'm so glad you said this because I got stuck on this for so long and I was like, I think I'm just an idiot.
No.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you said it.
That was the one mission and I was like, it was so weird to me because I was like, I felt the same way. I'm like, the rest of this game has been like baby mode, and then now all of a sudden this mission is the one that keeps killing me, but it killed me so many fucking times and I was getting so angry. And then when I finally beat it, I was like, okay, fuck, it's done. And I don't know if I even died again the rest of the game after that. Like, it's not a hard game, but I'll be honest with you, not every game has to be hard. Like,
no, and I agree with that because like sometimes Grand Theft Auto is like it's not hard, but it's obnoxious more than anything.
Yeah.
And once a game starts getting obnoxious, that's when I I found that way with Red Dead 2 as well. Like I found the game started to get obnoxious, so I was like, I'm good.
Like,
And I never felt that way playing Bully. Like I never felt like playing it was a chore.
no.
You know, it was a game. Once you get past the absolutely wretched control scheme, once you get past that, the game itself is just so entertaining and almost whimsical in a way that it shouldn't be.
No, you're right. And like, I think what I really enjoyed about it was like I put 2 or 3 marathon sessions into this game where I played for like 4 or 5 hours at a time, and I never found myself bored because I think this game does a great job of the missions are not very long. They're mostly simple, so you're not dying over and over and having to retry them over and over again. Even when a cop or a teacher or somebody catches you, if you mash triangle a bunch, you can usually get away from them, which is awesome.
And you can outrun them every time, which I don't know why.
Yeah, exactly. You can always get away. And I was like, so I never once did I find myself getting frustrated. And the short missions made me always be like, okay, well, I can get through one more mission. And for the most part, the missions, well, maybe they're not the most like clever, ingenious, creative things ever, are varied enough that they're pretty fun. Like there wasn't too many that I dreaded. You know what I mean?
There's a few standouts that I really like. I personally like. There's one like the variety here is so interesting because there's the one where you go into I think it's called Funhouse Fun, where you go into the funhouse and you have to save the nerds from the jocks running the funhouse.
Yeah.
And there's like a part where you have to go through like a graveyard. There's a part where you have to go through like a mine shaft. It's really, really bizarre. But then there's also like, if we're talking like a shorter mission, there's the one where you just have to sit in a tree and stop the shitty kids from heckling the lunch lady on a date. You know,
yeah, I love that.
And like one of those missions is really long, and one of them is really short. But I both think that they're incredibly fun missions.
Yeah, there was literally only 2 or 3 where I was like very rarely was I sitting there playing this game and being like, this is a slog, just fuck, let's go. Like, very rarely. I was constantly having fun. Frankly, the only time I found this game to just kind of drag and be a little boring was in the end game. Once you finish, because I finished the game at about 65% completion. And so then I was like, okay, so I got a whole bunch of like, I figured like the leftover stuff was like, because I didn't do any of the go make money missions where you can like mow grass or deliver newspapers or anything because I didn't need money.
Me neither.
Right, because you don't need any money. So I was like, I'm not dealing with those. I didn't go looking for elastics. I didn't worry about doing all the tagging, like that kind of stuff. And so
I was going to ask you about that with the elastics. Do you know if there's ever like practical use or is it just a collectible?
No, my understanding, I read that if you get all of them, you get something. And so I'm assuming you probably get like like one of those guns that shoots rubber bands or something.
That makes sense with the tone of the game.
Yeah, but again though, like another thing was like I found like once you get the upgraded slingshot, I was like, I'm good. This is all I need is this upgraded slingshot. This thing's a fucking beast. Between this and then all the attack moves that I've learned, I don't need anything else. Like I'm fine.
So one thing I'll say about this game is that I played it at a friend's house when I was growing up, and this game came out when I was in 2006 when I was 13, and my best friend was 13, and this was especially because this was developed in Vancouver, which is just a hop and a skip away from my hometown. This captures the essence of 2006 Canadian middle school fucking flawlessly, dude. Unbelievable. This is exactly what it's like.
Now, do you mean that in the sense of like some of the stuff that the kids say and things like that? Like the slang they use?
Or even just like the dumb insults that they throw at each other that aren't clever or interesting. It's exactly right. It's usually like something like, "What is that, your boyfriend?" And it's like, "Oh boy."
So that's one of the things about it is like if you've never played it, it's full of like gay jokes, right? Because like that's what kids did 15 years ago. Is that's right or wrong by today's standards. And I understand why. Like a lot of people, myself included, actually, when I finished this, I was like, how the fuck has there never been another one of these? Because I was like, I have no interest in playing GTA, but I would buy Bully 2 in a fucking heartbeat. But
I would buy a full-fledged next-gen AAA Bully sequel.
Yeah, me too. But I think that part of their concern is probably they'd be drawing attention to this one and what. Again, like you gotta use context in this. This was 15 years ago, but the shit that they say in this game would not. Frankly, I'm a little surprised this game's available for purchase on the PSN. Like with
that's
some
what
of
I
the
was
stuff
saying
in
too.
it.
Like it is weird that you can buy this game on the PlayStation Network. You shouldn't be able to.
Right. Yeah. It is bullying because you're right. There's a lot of like, yeah, they make fun of each other for being gay or what's the name?
Yeah, they kind of fetishize it, which is like, I think about 2006 nerds, and I'm like, man, I'm not sure what your target market was on this game. It mustn't have done very well because I think my buddy was the only person I knew who had it, but everybody I knew had Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean,
but yeah,
yeah. I agree with you in this. Like, forget the controversies around the way they talk and stuff like that. Like, yeah, if you're Rockstar, I mean, they have more money than they fucking know what to do with. I'm sure of that. But it's like, we can either put our money into GTA and Red Dead, or we can make another bully that some stores won't even carry and some people refuse to buy. And it's like, yeah, we'll make GTA and Red Dead. Like, I get it, but I wish they would even give the license to somebody else. Cause like, again, you could make another version of this game and drop some of those jokes and stuff like that, and it could still be just as much fun. Cause like, even like there's Petey, like so the main character is Jimmy, and then Jimmy meets up with Gary, who turns out to be just a piece of shit and like the antagonist of the game. But then there's also Petey, who's kind of like their Milhouse,
soft-spoken nerd type.
Yeah, he's Milhouse.
He's Milhousey. Yep, that's perfect.
He's their little buddy that they always pick on. Well, Jimmy doesn't, but Gary does. And yeah, Gary calls him like the sissiest kid in school and stuff like that. And like
him where his dresses are
and
shit. Like,
and I actually really like Petey. Like, I felt bad for him. Like, I was kind of hoping
Petey was the best character.
He was, right? Like, I was a little, frankly, for as good as this game is, I was actually a little disappointed with the ending because I really wanted to see Petey get his. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted him to be the one to fucking beat Gary and be the hero.
That's because you think Petey is the real hero, and I think you're supposed to feel that way, but Rockstar wasn't sure if people were gonna feel that way.
Yeah, you might be right, because I love him, and I was like, dude, this poor kid just gets like the whole game just takes it and just takes it and takes it, and I'm like, I just want to see him. Like, dude, did you ever see the Simpsons movie where like they're about to blow up Springfield and Martin like beats the shit out of Jimbo, Dolph, and Kearney? And he's like, you guys have been picking on me my whole life. And he just goes to town on them. And that's kind of what we need. That's what I wanted Petey to do. But he just kind of disappeared at the end of the game.
The crazy thing about this is that every antagonist in this game, except for Gary, just somehow eventually becomes a protagonist.
Yeah.
Like as if, and like that is what I like, especially like going into chapter 5 when everybody's like huddled around you and they're like, you're the best in the world, Jimmy. You should be president of the world.
Yeah.
And it's like all these people that you yourself personally have beat the living shit out of.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. So, cause we were talking about like the criticisms, I think. And I don't even think it's that big a criticism, but like my biggest criticism of this game is that like when the game starts and Jimmy gets dropped off at this boarding school and he meets Gary and Gary's giving him the lay of the land, and it almost feels a little bit like the intro to Shawshank, you know, where Andy meets Red and Red's telling him about like, look out for the sisters, look over here. And that's kind of what Gary's doing. But Gary's like, over here, these are the greasers, these are the nerds, these are the jocks, and he's telling you about the
setting up the whole thing.
Yeah, and I get that, and he explains the different like cliques in the school, and then you spend the game like originally all the cliques hate you, but like my biggest criticism of the game is that there is like a menu where you can go and see what your reputation is like with each gang, and as you do missions, your reputation changes. But that like it really doesn't mean anything. You get no option. Like once you start a mission, I guess the only way to get out of the mission is to fail it. But like to me, it would have been cooler if like they explained the mission and say in this case it's the nerds and they want to pick on the jocks, and they explain to you the mission, and then basically it says, do you want to accept, like this is what it should do, is it should say,
I agree at this point.
Do you want to accept this mission? This mission will up your rank with the nerds, lower your rank with the jocks. But instead, you just go through the whole game beating every mission, and your rankings with each clique just constantly are going up and down, and they don't matter. At all.
It's almost like a set pattern. And the thing is that would annoy me a lot less, because you're right, actually. That would annoy me a lot less if the people that you didn't have the lowest with didn't just start beating you up on sight.
Yeah, and you have no idea when you take up, like, it's obvious, like, again, if you take a mission where you're the nerds and you're going to go pull pranks on the jocks, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize you're going to up your rep with the nerds and lower your rep with the jocks. But there are other missions where you just take them, you have no idea what this mission is going to end up doing for your reputation till it's over. And then you realize the reputation doesn't really matter anyway. You're right. Like most people just beat you up when they see you. And then all of a sudden in chapter 5, they all idolize you. And even that, like, I get that, like, Okay, so Jimmy found a way to kind of unite everyone, and now every group all look up to Jimmy. But I would have preferred it vastly if those ratings had played a role, and then by chapter 5, maybe just all the groups that you had worked with liked you or something. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, absolutely, I agree.
it just felt like the money. It was the exact same thing as the money. Neither one took away from the game, but I just was like, why even bother putting this in? It serves no purpose whatsoever.
It definitely, like, as far as like Grand Theft Auto games go, or Rockstar adjacent games like this, LA Noire, Red Dead, whatever. As far as games like that go, this one did feel like there was a lot less freedom than usual. Like,
yes.
it did feel a little bit more on rails. Like they wanted you to do things in a specific order. You can do the missions in whatever order you want, but you're doing these missions.
Yeah,
that's just how it is.
There's really no optional things to like make people like you or dislike you. You just but having said that, I think part of the reason this game smoked to me as much as it did is because I prefer my games in as linear a fashion as possible. I've always been like that because I don't want to miss anything. So if you're linear and I don't have to worry about missing anything, that's the way I like it. And Bully's great for that. It just kind of, I don't know. To me, stuff like the money and your ratings with different clicks, those were either put in early and then they didn't have time to flush them out, or they snuck them in at the end to try to make the game seem like more of a big deal than it, you know what I mean? Like there was more depth than there was, but like they're completely shallow. Like they serve no purpose whatsoever.
And I don't know if there's like a set percentage of respect that you have to have for people to stop hitting you, or if it's just whichever of the 3 groups is the lowest percentage.
Yeah.
But it does feel like people are always trying to beat you up, and it's always random. It's like, oh wait, the greasers are trying to beat me up. Dude, I thought there was like a whole thing where we were friends now.
There's 2 different points where you're friends. There's one point where like the leader of the greasers like helps you, and then you become friends with them. And then there's a point where you break the leader of the greasers out of a mental asylum, and you're like, well, now we're friends. But then they hate you again, and I'm like, I saved your guy. What the fuck? Yeah. Why am I doing this? Like.
But to be fair, the plot line about like everybody wanting to date the same girl and her also kind of wanting to date them, that's pretty legit for middle school.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah. But I really didn't. None of these are sincere criticisms. Like when we do the score at the end of the game, like spoiler alert, this game's going to get an incredible score from me because I really liked it.
It's good.
But yeah, that was my biggest criticism, was just I thought that there was stuff that made no sense. Quite frankly, there are aspects of the plot that make no sense. Like I think it would have been, I get that Gary is a piece of shit, but he's kind of your friend, and then he backstabs you and tries to take over the school. But I think it would have been like, I feel like there was so much more meat on the bone there that they just didn't do anything with.
I also find it really bizarre that Gary disappears for literal months, and they're like, yeah, we haven't seen Gary in months. It's like, what the fuck? It's a boarding school. What do you mean you haven't seen him?
Yeah, right? Like
it's a fucking boarding school. He just sleeps in the room next to you.
Like I wanted him around the whole time. Like I think it would have been, to me, what would have made a better story is drop the fucking ranking shit with the clicks altogether. And then maybe just as you're doing stuff is happening to other clicks, and now they hate you, and you're like, what the fuck? And then you, at the end, you realize it was Gary the whole time. You know what I mean? Like something like that would have been cooler. Like Gary was actually stabbing you in the back the whole time, and you had no idea it was him. Or something like that.
Yeah, I almost, like with Gary, I almost kind of wanted like the Gruntilda effect, where it's like, you know that they're the bad guy, but they're slipping in little things throughout the game, just slipping in there to say some shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because I thought he fucking, every time he showed, dude, I actually, especially considering that this is a PS2 game, which I've had to remind myself of a couple times because I'm playing it on PS4. I thought the voice acting in this game was on point, particularly with Gary.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, Gary in particular, whoever did his voice, I thought was fantastic. I wanted to punch him right in the fucking mouth so many times.
I remember specifically thinking that the woman playing the art teacher, Miss Phillips, I was like, oh man, whoever that is, she's killing it.
Yeah, she was great too. So, and actually that's another thing. Actually, maybe my favorite aspect of this game is the way that, like, I certainly not comparing Bully to Persona, but the simple idea that like you're at school, and if you want, you can go and do missions and stuff like that. Or if you want, You can just go to class, and then the classes up your skills at different things. And some of the classes fucking suck. Photography is fucking horrible.
I don't think I ever did photography. To be fair, I was in truancy quite a lot. I was always skipping class.
Some of them are rad. Photography, you literally get an assignment and you've got way more time than you could ever need. And all you have to do is like go around town and take pictures of flags or take pictures of buildings. And you just go take the pictures and then go back to class and you pass. It is so, and like the little map in the corner literally tells you exactly where everything you have to take a picture of is. Like there's no looking for it or anything. And it was just like, this is so boring. But then other classes, I thought chemistry class was an awesome mini game. You have
I agree.
Where you have to hit the buttons in sync as they go through the box. Like it's a scrolling meter. I like that.
Yeah, and they added different buttons with each lecture.
Yeah, I loved that class. I loved art class. I thought that was actually the best mini game in the whole game. Did you do art at all?
I did art a little bit. I thought it was okay, but I have a personal favorite. My personal favorite is English.
I liked English a lot too.
Yeah, where they give you like scrambled letters and you have 3 minutes to find as many words. It was such a bizarre thing that you're like, why is this? I don't know why this is here. This doesn't belong here, but I like this and this. I like the game and I like this mini game separately, but I don't know why it's here.
Yeah, if you've never played Bully, like the English game is like, it literally is like you're playing like Boggle or something. And you just get like
it's a lot like Boggle.
5 or 6 random letters, and you have to find as many words with them as you can in 3 minutes. And you might be listening, and like I guarantee you, there are some people that are like, "Fuck that! That sucks! It's so boring." I get it. As someone that likes those types of mini games and like likes those types of puzzles, like I actually wish that was like a side thing you could just play whenever you wanted, because I actually really enjoy those missions.
Well, what I think works so well about this game in particular is that this game really plays on the fact that kids at that age are really, really fucking dramatic about everything. And so like after every time you beat a boss, Jimmy will be like, "Who's the king? I'm the king, me." And I'm like, you're 14, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that.
You're not that great. But I think a great example of how just like how dramatic this game is the fact that this game actually has pretty believable boss fights, which Grand Theft Auto games don't typically have.
Yeah.
But the boss fights in this game actually work because this is actually what would happen in that instance with 2 middle school kids who are like, "This kid said that you said you fucked my mom, so I'm going to beat you up now." You know, like it's exactly that shit.
Yeah. One thing was that I actually was like a little disappointed that there wasn't more bullying. Like Jimmy actually turns out to be he's like an anti-hero. Like he's got good, he has a good heart. Like he's trying to help.
He's a piece of shit who really cares.
Right. And I actually before I'd ever played it, I was thinking there would be little things like in GTA, you can go and steal a car from anybody you want. And I was thinking it'd be cool if like I can go and like give anyone a wedgie that I want or something, like, you know what I mean? Like there was less actual bullying on my part than I thought there would be.
The only bullying you could really do is like military style karate people chop in the neck, and you're like, oh, but as soon as you do that, someone will notice it and be like, "Hey, that kid punched that kid, call the police."
Yeah. So I was disappointed a little bit in that. And I feel like that maybe a little too often they just fell back on like, all right, well, it's just a fight. Like, just have a fist fight. Because the fighting in this game, like, is very basic and kind of easy. Like, dude, it's just such an... I'm not complaining about this because I actually prefer, like, dude, to me, give me a fun, entertaining game, and it doesn't have to be super hard. I don't care. And this game wasn't, but I had a good time with it. But at times, I was like, the combat was like too easy. I was like, you can't, like, there's no countering, there's no nothing. You know what I mean?
It almost feels like, because there is, throughout this game, you get radio transistors, and then you get like special, like more powerful moves from a homeless man who turns out to be an alien. And so this whole time you're getting these new moves, but it feels like the game is built to make sure that maybe you can still beat it if you didn't get those moves.
Yeah. I agree with
like,
that.
Like if all you can do is punch twice, like you can't fucking like karate kick people or roundhouse people, or, you know, like put them in a headlock and shit. Like if you can't do that, can you still beat the game? But if you can do that, you can fucking slide through this thing.
Yeah. And shout out to the humiliations that you can do to people when you're fighting them. If you get them almost knocked out and then you hold like the left, I think it's L1 and then hit circle and you do like humiliations. And it's stuff like you grab them by the ear, or if they're knocked down, you like and you like spit in their face and stuff like that. And I was like, those always made me laugh. Like every time I was like, that's what I want to do. Like, let me be a bully. Like the game's called Bully. I don't want to be the hero that like defeats the bullies. I want to be the bully. You know
it's
what I
weird
mean?
to me that they built a game named Bully, but didn't give you an option to give swirlies.
Yeah, like honestly, like if they did a sequel to this game, like I think having one of the, you know, those games where you have the morality chart or meter or whatever, and you either get really evil or really good.
Yeah, I kind of thought that there would be something like that too.
Like this game seems like it'd be so perfect for that. Like you could either be the piece of shit who just picks on everyone, or you could be the really nice guy who helps
stands
everybody.
up for the little guy.
Yeah. Oh, dude, and we were talking about the voice acting. A couple of the other voice actors that I thought were fucking magnificent in this game. I actually really like the principal. I think he plays the although I would have preferred him to be the antagonist. Like I would have like, because he kind of just like helps you at the end.
I sort of thought he was going to for the first little while, and then I met Gary, and I'm like, oh no, they're not even trying to hide it. This is the last boss right here.
Yeah, but like I think it would have been dope if it had turned out that like he was Gary's dad or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, and he was working with Gary the whole time or something like that.
Where's the drama? He's saying, where is the soap opera?
Yeah, like I wanted, you know, but I really liked him as a character, and actually maybe my favorite character in the whole game aside from Petey is the gym teacher. That fat, greasy fucking gym teacher. I think he's fucking hilarious.
I like him, but he's also probably a pedophile. There's actually a few people in this game that I'm like, that's really gross, man.
Oh, dude, did you do the mission where you've got to steal the underwear for him?
Yeah, I sure did. I didn't feel good doing it.
No, I was playing it and I was like, so if you've never played this game, there's one of the teachers is this like big fat, greasy, almost bald sack of shit. He's the gym teacher.
It's like Bill Dauterive looking motherfucker.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great fucking call. With a greasy mustache too. And there's a mission where you're in town at night and you bump into him coming out of like a porno store, like an adult store. And he's like, oh, I was looking to see there's no students in there. And Jimmy's like, oh, good. Thanks for checking. Like Jimmy can tell, but he's like, oh yeah, okay. And then the gym teacher's like, I actually forgot to do the student laundry. And then he basically just says, can you break into the girls' dorm and get their underwear for me? And that's basically the whole mission is you break into the girls' dorm at night and steal their underwear and then give it to this creepy old gym teacher. And I was like, please, God, do not let my girlfriend walk into the room while I'm playing this mission. Like, of all the missions, not this one, because she's going to be like, what the fuck are you doing?
There's a couple of missions like that. There was another one that I thought was just so baffling where somebody had posted naked pictures of a high school or a middle school girl all around town.
Yeah.
And you get in trouble for taking them down. And I'm like, what kind of sick fucking place is this?
So the nerd hires you to take pictures of the girl. Then the nerd hangs them all over town. And then when you try to take them down, people get mad at you. And I'm like, dude, this chick's 16 and she's sitting on the toilet. And I'm trying to take this picture down. And you guys are mad at me? Like, what? But yeah, I agree with you.
There's some sickos going on here, dude. There's some straight up preverts running around Bullworth, dude.
Yeah, but it also made me laugh at the same time. Like, I was like, this game does not take itself that seriously. This is actually pretty funny.
The game is also weird because sometimes it just like drops weird little jokes in there that you're like, ooh, I don't know if you should have. Like there's a joke where the lunch lady roofies the science teacher and then brings him to a motel. And that's the end of that joke. Congratulations. The sexual assault's taking place in there.
The lunch lady's so gross. You go back into the cafeteria at times that she's just like blatantly horking and coughing and spitting into the food and stuff like that. It's so gross. But I actually really liked her too. She made me laugh a couple of times. The point where you show up and she has her makeup on and she just looks like the Joker from Batman, like Heath Ledger's Joker. And you're like, oh yeah.
She's so proud of it.
Yeah. And you're like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Dude. And the storyline where Jimmy thinks that the art teacher wants to bang him. And I thought that too, because her art is all so seductive and stuff. I'm like, oh, so she's supposed to be like a cougar who wants to sleep with these students. But then no, she didn't. She wanted to sleep with the alcoholic other teacher.
Which, by the way, I think that is my favorite adult character in this game.
The alcoholic
is the alcoholic English teacher.
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
And here's why, because I love the conversations that he has with Jimmy and the things that Jimmy says to him, where it's like sometimes Jimmy's like, sometimes you got to sip the bottle. I get it. You know?
Yeah. I love that, like, Jimmy, like this fucking student that got dropped off at this boarding school is like this guy's soundboard that he just goes to whenever he needs help. And I thought, and you break him out of a mental asylum? Like, what?
Yeah, that's fucking so weird.
I don't know.
That's a wild one, but I love the adult characters. But there is one character that I think might be the best character in the entire game, and Petey would come close. But goddamn, dude, if I didn't have a soft spot for Russell in this game,
Russell, the big dummy. That's like the big stupid ogre from Revenge of the Nerds, but nice. Yeah, he's awesome.
He's like what's his name? The bad guy from Octopus. He's like Jaws from Octopus.
Yeah, he's fucking.
No,
he's outstanding.
Spy Who Loved Me.
And but he becomes like your best pal. Like you're like, because he realizes near the end of the game when you realize you're in trouble and you're like, and then they both realize they're like, the whole school hates me. And then he's like, Russell. And then he goes and gets Russell and Russell comes and helps you. And you're just, he's like so over the top cliche, like Russell smash dumb.
Yeah.
But he's so likable too. I love it. Yeah. And he beats you up early in the game too.
Yeah, he's the first boss. Like, that is what I find interesting is that each chapter has like a pretty distinctive boss. There's like Russell is the first boss, and I think he was the hardest one.
Yeah, he was because you didn't have any moves yet.
I found that I died on him way more than any of the other boss fights. There's also the boss fight where you have to box, which actually I really loved. It was like the Punch Out style boxing.
Yeah, me too.
Really love that. There's, I think, is Biff that you fight, and then you fight Derby right after that. But that's just like a normal fight where he's like throwing brandy glasses at you because he's a rich kid.
Yeah.
Then I think it's the. Oh no, the next boss is Johnny, where he's driving around you with the motorcycle, and you have to get Petey to the crane so he can take the motorcycle away from him.
Oh, yeah.
That one was actually really unique, I found.
Yeah, I did too.
I'm just so blown away that there was boss fights in this game. It wasn't something I was expecting, but it actually worked really, really well.
Agreed, especially considering that the boss fights weren't all just like, because I mean they probably could have gotten away with each boss fight just being meet me after school in the parking lot and you fight. You know what I mean? Like they could have done that and it would have made sense in the concept of bully, but they found ways to put these unique, fun, albeit a little over the top fights in instead. I agree with you 100%. I thought that was fucking...
Yeah.
God, I really like this game, man. Me
too. I also really like the fight where you fight like the mascot in the empty pool
because
you went to the football game and pissed him off.
and then you take his later you take the mascot costume and then you get to run around as the mascot. I thought that was fucking awesome too.
I wore the mascot outfit for like way longer than I would care to admit.
Me too. Dude, actually, you know what another thing is? Like, it's very, very basic, but I actually really enjoyed just skateboarding around campus in this game too.
Yeah,
like,
me too, yeah.
Like, just jumping over stairs and just fucking around. Like, I thought that was a lot of fun. Like, I never once, and there's even some of my favorite games of all time, there are certain levels in certain areas where I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do this. There are very, very rare instances in this game where I found myself just kind of being like, I don't want to play anymore. Like I constantly just had fun. I'm floored. Nothing has come of this franchise since this game. Floored that nothing else has happened with it.
I think it's a tough one. I think it's a tough one to market
appropriately.
You couldn't have got away with this before 2006, but you couldn't have got away with it after 2006 either. It's like they had this game on reserve and someone was like, and guys, I think our opening's coming here. People are being cool. They're going to get not cool. So slip it in. Okay. It's out.
Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah. You're right.
People are pissed off. God damn it.
And the thing is like at the end of the day, like making games isn't cheap. And I'm sure making another one of these games would not be cheap at all. And you're making a game that instantly, like, I bet you it gets at least an R rating just based on the name. It would get an R rating today.
And like, I don't know, but is Rockstar Vancouver, does that even still exist anymore?
I don't even know. But that's I don't want Rockstar no. Yeah, it looks like they're still around. I mean, frankly, it's just like Naughty Dog. I love Naughty Dog, but Naughty Dog made the first Banjo or the first 3 Crash Bandicoot games, and they did not make the new one. And everybody's wanted a new Crash Bandicoot game for a while. At least Crash fans have. I have. But it was like Naughty Dog is making Uncharted's and Last of Us's. They are not going back to making fucking Crash Bandicoot, right? Like not to sound arrogant, but like they're better than that now. And Rockstar is better than Bully at this point. But it's like give the franchise to someone. You know, let someone else try it.
You know, it's a lot of like. One last thing that I'll say about this game that's like sort of like a hit and miss for me is like I find that a lot of the humor is hit and miss. It's either like it's pretty funny or it's like roll your eyes like ugh, you know, like somebody's like I got so scared I made puddles in my pants and it's like oh, okay, that's great.
That fat nerd whose pants are always undone. Who always wets his pants?
Algernon?
Yeah, he like always pisses his pants. I was like, it was funny to start, but then it kind of hit a point where I was like, I get it. Here comes a fat kid who pisses his pants. You know what I mean? It's like we've done this.
Algie's in the game quite a lot too. Like,
yeah,
he's in it. He's in so many of the missions.
I mean, and he is like he stands out. Like he's funny. Like he looks funny. But I just was like, okay, I get it. He pisses.
Yeah, but like if you came to me now and you're like, tell me the difference between the character Thad and the character Ernest, and I'd be like, I don't know. They're both. I think that's the same guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I was pretty convinced those were the same guys. You know.
At the end of the day, like it's just so it's kind of tricky because I feel like on one hand, I like the fact that this game is kind of as simple and linear as it is, but on the other hand, I feel like there were so many things they could have done that they left on the board.
Yeah, there's a few missed opportunities here, I think.
Like it could have been a lot, like I said, stuff like making the group's opinions of you actually matter, making you good or making you evil, make money matter, stuff like that. Gary should have been around more often. Like because you're right, he literally disappears for half the game, but then shows up and now all of a sudden he's in charge. And it's like, what?
Yeah, and the craziest part about it is that he disappears and they keep mentioning it. Like, stop bringing it to my attention that one of these kids at boarding school just isn't here.
Yeah, like I mean it. Like to me, maybe this seems obvious. Maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but like whether everybody saw the twist coming or not, I don't get why you didn't like in the first chapter or two when Gary is that evil voice on your shoulder. I love it, and I'm like, he should have been that for the whole game. And then at the very end of the game, you realize that he's been like just manipulating you and setting you up the whole time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think just taking the content that's already there and rearranging it makes it better written content.
Yeah, because at the end of the game, he just shows back up. He's in charge. You fight him once. It's an easy fight, and then it's over. And I was like, what? Like, that's all that. And now all of a sudden, and now the principal who had expelled you is like, oh, Jimmy, you're our hero. You're in charge now. We love you. Thank you so much for stopping the evil Gary. And it was like, what?
You're the principal. You can have my job.
Yeah. Like, I think it would have been cooler if he had been fired. Oh, yeah. Like, dude, there's the one mission where that fat teacher is selling test scores or test answers, and you have to, like, catch them in the act. Like
hat trick, right?
Yeah, like I would have liked to have seen the principal be involved in something like that. Like make him totally corrupt and evil, and like at the end of the game, he gets fired, Gary gets kicked out of school or something, and then Jimmy, like maybe the alcoholic guy becomes the principal, and then Jimmy's in charge.
That's like, funny because it makes it chaotic. Yeah, because like this game's chaotic.
Because like it would have been so much. I feel like they could have done a lot more with it. That's all.
Did you do the mission where you went to Hattrick's house and kicked the shit out of his flowers?
Yes.
That's one of my faves. Because the only reason you're doing it is because he's going to go to the principal and tell him that Holloway's an alcoholic, which he is.
Yeah. And so is that the one where you're in the backyard and you have to just cause a certain amount of damage, and the more damage you cause, the more cops show up? Yeah. I fucking love that mission.
That one was awesome. This is a really fun game with a lot of really wacky mishaps happening pretty much from the time it starts. Like, this is not a game to be taken seriously. This doesn't sit up there with like things like Last of Us or games like that with mature themes and things like that. This says mature themes on the back, but I want to talk about the use of the word mature here because I think it's a little different. That being said, it's great. Like it's incredibly fun and it's a great distraction.
That was it. Like, as I was playing it, I was like, I don't know. it's not the funniest video game I've ever played, but it's up there. Like at times it made me do. There's one more mission with that fucking fat gym teacher where he like runs in the park every day. And so you go and destroy 3 of the porta potties so that he has to use the 4th one. And then when he gets in the 4th one, you tape it shut and push it down a hill. And he gets out, he's like, "Oh, it's in my nose!" Like, and he's like yelling about it. I thought like that's the stuff. Like that was what made me want to keep playing it. As I was like, it's not that hard, so I'm not getting frustrated ever. The missions are short, and the missions are so varied that every time another one pops up, I'm like, "Oh, I want to go." And some of them fall flat and suck, and some of them are awesome. But I kept wanting to go see what the next one would be to see if it would make me laugh again. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think one last little thing, I guess. I think the carnival set piece is a little underused in this game.
Oh, criminally underused.
Like,
yes.
like it's such a cool place to go, but you only have like a couple of reasons ever to actually go there.
Yeah. And
did you ride the roller coaster though? Pay $150 to watch Jimmy Hopkins ride the roller coaster. It's a wild ride, dude.
No, I did not. I just played enough games to win the bear, and that was it. I never did the.
Yeah, then you fucked off till it was Funhouse Fun Time.
Yeah, but you know you're right though. Like there is like. I feel like there was a lot of like I was playing it and then I actually streamed on Twitch the post game because I was done the game, but we hadn't recorded the podcast yet. So I was like, well, you guys can come hang out. I'm sure there's lots of like extra missions and stuff like that. But no, by the end of the game, by the time I was done, all that was left was like I could go cut grass to make more money, which was boring and useless. I could deliver newspapers to make more money, which was boring. I could run around looking for elastic bands and Dungeons and Dragons cards and places to spray paint. And I was like,
yeah,
like, and I understand that like tons of video games have that kind of stuff. Like you can look at Spider-Man, fucking name the open world game. It's got collectibles to go around and get. But I was like, these are boring. Like, I'm done now. Like I beat the game. I have no interest in 100%ing this at all.
I think I could beat the game with 0 elastic bands and be like, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I felt no incentive to go looking for any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
do you know? Yeah.
I was just gonna say, getting around is so fucking slow too that it's like it's not fun. You know?
Yeah, I was just doing like some light reading on it, like right before the podcast, and I read something really interesting. And I don't know if you know this, but you know that Bully is the name of the game only in North America.
I actually read something about that. Yeah.
Yeah, the game is actually called Canis Canem Edit, which is Latin for dog eat dog. Interesting.
Wow.
Interesting shit. So that means like half the people were listening to this podcast and being like, what fucking game are they? I've never even heard of it. And then they got to the end like, oh, okay, no, I have played that.
Yeah, it's got like when you look at the reviews, it's got really good reviews. I enjoyed the fuck out of it.
I would give it a good review. I like it a lot.
I'm going to, yeah, absolutely. But like, and I guess at the end of the day, like we've already kind of talked about this. This is a good way to start wrapping it up. Is I get why we haven't gotten a sequel because it'd be such a hard sell, especially in today, like anti-bullying. And I'm not shitting on anti-bullying. Like we shouldn't be bullying everybody, but like anti-bullying has become such a big topic in society that you're like, oh, by the way, we just sunk tens of millions of dollars into developing a new game that's all about bullying. I get how that's a hard sell. Like that's not
like you couldn't bring that to the masses now and be like everybody would be like, wait, you just spent all the money that I gave you for the cowboy game to make this?
Yeah. Plus, you know what? Like at the end of the day, if Rockstar, and I don't know, I mean, I'm not going to say it's a curse because Rockstar's worth $1 trillion. But like if Rockstar was to, let's just say for argument's sake, by the time you guys hear this podcast, the Game Awards will have already happened, but we're recording it the day before the Game Awards. Let's just say at the Game Awards tomorrow, Rockstar's logo pops up, everyone loses their shit. They're like GTA 6, finally. And then it's Bully 2. People will fucking riot.
Like, people might not be happy. People aren't happy about fucking anything on the internet. So who gives a shit?
That's true. They're going to find something to complain about.
They're going to be like, even if they were like Grand Theft Auto 6, they'd be like, why didn't they just skip 6 and go straight to 7, make it more advanced? Fucking idiots.
Yeah, you're right. Nobody would be happy, but there's no way they could do it. Yeah, man, I fucking really, you got any other thoughts before we score this thing and get on with our lives? Because I really enjoyed this game.
You know, it's not that long of a game. I was playing it and I was having a lot of fun, but I like you, I had a couple of complaints, but other than that, I think it's wild. It's crazy. It shouldn't exist, but I'm kind of glad it does. That's how I feel. Agreed.
One of the more, and I mean this in an absolutely complimentary fashion, one of the more unique video games I've played in my gaming career. Like I get why it has the following that it does. And I get why it shows up on lists of the best PS2 games of all time. I also get why it shows up on lists of the most controversial games of all time. Frankly, I don't think it was nearly as controversial as I thought it would be, aside from the gay jokes. I thought it would be a bit more. I thought it would be a bit more hardcore. Yeah, like I thought you would be the bully, and you're not. You really turn out to be a pretty nice guy. But overall, I thought it was fucking pretty rad. I'm just looking for a way to score it. It can't. You know what? Okay, how about Jimmy's 15? So let's go with that. So on a score of 1 to 15, what would you give Bully, starring Jimmy Hopkins? I'm gonna give it a solid out of 15. Let's say 12 and a half. All right. Yeah. Let's say I'm going to give it 12 and a half. I loved it. Yeah. I thought it was bananas. Yeah, I'm going to go I'm probably going to go in that like 13 to 13 and a half score. Like it's funny because most of my criticisms is that I feel like they could have done more with it, but I'm also not certain had they done more with it if I would have liked it less, because I might have found it overwhelming. I thought it was just the right amount of open world and linearity, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I want the extra stuff. I just feel like they could have done the extra stuff. It was a nice micro Grand Theft Auto game. Like it does feel like it's just my Grand Theft Auto, but everything is shrunk. It does. It feels, even the map, like when you open up the map, it looks like GTA. It's just a school and surrounding neighborhood. That's all it is. And I think that's almost better. Like, I think I like this better than any Grand Theft Auto game, because for me, Grand Theft Auto games do get really overwhelming, and it just makes me not want to play the game anymore when I'm feeling anxiety about like, oh, I have to go do that mission, but that's like a 25-minute drive. Yeah. I don't know. Same thing. I hate, and I don't mean this just with GTA, like Witcher 3, with any big game. I hate when I put a 2 or 3 hour session into a game, and then when I'm done, I'm like, I don't know if I made any progress. Like, I hate that feeling. Do you know what I mean? And I never felt like that with Bully, especially because every time I saved, it showed me exactly how much progress I had made, which I liked. I actually like that as well. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. Yeah, it's just it's soothing to me. I'm like, yes, I don't know what it is about it. It's just like a little comfort blanket. Every time I save and I see that, like, oh, my game completion percentage went up from 47.6 to 47.9. I'm like, all right, I made some progress tonight. I like that feeling. Did something. Yeah, I didn't waste my evening. I accomplished something. Dude, first of all, thank you for coming on the show. Second of all, on such short notice, thank you so much for, I just wanted you to come on and have a conversation with me, but you went out, bought the game, played through the game, and got ready for this. You are dedicated, sir. Thank you. You are the PD to my Jimmy. Well, if you ever need me to play video games for 5 days straight again, you let me know. Anytime. Dude, thank you so much, Bradley. I appreciate it. Hey, no problem, man. This was fun. And that's going to do it for this week's episode. Bradley, thank you so much for giving me a call and talking a little Bully with me. And to every single one of you hearing my voice right now, thank you so much for listening to the show. If you enjoyed it, if you enjoy what we do, please consider supporting us on Patreon. It's only $2. It helps me out so much more than you could possibly imagine. You get access to a giant backlog of extra podcasts. You get a shout out on the show and a whole bunch of extra stuff. This Sunday's episode of our Patreon exclusive show Expansion Pass will be a Festivus special where we air our gaming grievances. And then a quick reminder again, there will not be an episode of Expansion Pass or Game Patch the week of Christmas. I'm going to take that couple of days off. But you still got tons of old episodes back there. There's over 50 bonus podcasts you can listen to. Patreon.com/rememberthegame. Plus you get access to Discord and all that other stuff as well. Also, we have a P.O. Box. You can find the address on our website, but it's P.O. Box 69181, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, T6 Victor 1 Gary 7. Just shoot me a postcard or a little letter or something like that. Tell me where you're listening. I've got Remember the Game postcards here. I'll shoot you one back. We'll be friends. It'll be a lot of fun. And check me out on Twitch. I traditionally stream over there Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sunday nights from 8 to 11 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Do not forget this weekend, Friday, December 18th to Saturday, December 19th, I'm streaming for 24 straight hours to help raise money for the Stollery Children's Hospital here in Edmonton via the Extra Life program. Look for Member the Game on twitch.tv. Not Remember. Look for Member the Game. And if you live over in the city of Great Britain, Britain or Australia or Japan or somewhere that's not North American Mountain Time, and maybe normally I'm streaming in the middle of the night and you can't watch me because you're sleeping. Hopefully at some point during that 24-hour run, you can come by and say hi, because I would love a chance to talk to some of our listeners that live over on the other side of this big rock we're all floating through space on. And that's going to do it. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll be back on Friday with Game Patch 18.0. I'll be back on Sunday with episode 39 of Expansion Pass. And then I'll be not really around at all next week because that's going to be Christmas. But whatever. Thanks for listening. Clean your controllers, wash your hands, stay safe, be nice to each other, have a Merry Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever the fuck it is you celebrate this time of year. And I'll talk to you guys all again soon. Cheers. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I just could not produce 3 podcasts a week and all the other crap that I do without all of your support, so I would like to take a quick moment to thank every single person that has supported us at patreon.com/rememberthegame, including MPG in Buffalo, James Anderson, Amy Gillen, Dana Wutrell, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. I'm sorry, Dana. Aaron Lawson, Adam Anderson, Adam Beasley, Adam Oshirello, Alan C., Alex Martinez, Andre, Andrew Wright, Andy Baker, April Zane, Arpad Bodos, Ashley Cronenbitter, Badar Barhumi, Ben Booyah, Ben Busha, Ben Drinkin, Bradley McHugh, Brandon O'Brien, Brian McKay, Brian Medeiros, Brian Ransom, Bullfrog, Charlie M., Chris Campbell, Chris Fleury, Chris Wilson, Christopher Russell, Chuck Schlarp, Corey, Craig Rutt, Crash Bandicwitted, Chris Knife 007, Dan T, Danny Vega, Dario Omen, Dave L, Dave McGee, Dave Thompson, David Ray, David Schnatterer, Desert Tortoise, Divalk, Du Howe, Dominic S. Thompson, Doug Dorn, Doxer, Dylan, Eric Cannard, Evan Refuse, Fraser Burns, Freddie Bovenkirk, Gary C, Geek Life Radio, Grant Robertson, Grimpy, Henri SJA Flash, James Clark, Jared, Jason Adams, Jason Cortez, Jay Clutch, Jeff Johnson from Game on GNT, Jeffrey Mathis, Chair Bear, Joe Buck, Joe Gillespie, Joe Mack, John Doskis, John Quack, Jordan, Josh Morgan, Josh from the Press Start to Join podcast, Kate Roberts, Casey Rarick, Keegs, Kevin Chincholo, Kevin Donlin, Kevin Hufford, Cryptovox, Kyle Paul, Lane Orr, Leon Nabskog, Les Winan, Luca, Mackenzie Wheeler, Makeshift Money, Mark Jones, Mark McHugh, Mark 209, Martin Greenwood, Matt McLean, Matthew Davis, Michael Mathis, Michael Hegg, Mike Mallowaney, Miklos Blackshaw, Miles from BringBackRetro.com, Morgan, Mr. Satan, Mr. Impressive, Mr. Nick, Wolverine Films, Nathan Combs, Nathan Tremblay, Nathan W, Nick Sills, No One Cares, Pat Duddy, PB McFadden, Peebs, Raging Demon, Retro Ghosty Ghost, Rex, Robert Fuchsia, Robert L, Rome 21, Ryan Bayshore, Ryan Kinchin, Ryan Yeager, Scott Brooks, Scott V, Sean Razine, Sharonix, Silver Grunion, Slick Rick, Starro Probin, Stupid Monkey, Super Mario, The Giraffe, The T-Word, They Call Me Badger, Thomas D. Reynolds, Tim L, Tim Riel, Todd O, Tom, Tony Shirachetti, Travis, Trevor Hillier, Tyler, Very Cool Dude, Vincent L, Vladstein, Whiteboro, Wyman Brooks, X-Water, Yamcha, and Zane Donovan. Thank you all so much for the support. I'll talk to you guys again soon. You're the best. Cheers.